it's so nice actually to be in all of your living rooms. I'm kind of nosing around and seeing which ones of you have got kind of Protestant hangings on the wall and which ones of you have got very exciting setups. How clever it all is. Look at that, magnificent. We now know all your secrets. Check it out. Mark Glover has a Jesus next to him. Is that that is a magnificent Jesus. I am going to see if I can, I am going to just let everybody see, this is Mark and his friend Jesus. There we are. So I'm not going to take you off. I'm not going to unmute you, Mark, because God only knows what you'd say. No. You're all very welcome to 10 by 9, to Zoom by 9. We have 7 stories for you tonight. We're going to have 4 stories and then a break and then 3 more stories. And it's magnificent. I think if you're here, you probably know what 10 by 9 is, but I'll tell you anyway. 10 by 9 is a storytelling event where 9 people have up to 10 minutes each to tell a true story from their life. It has to be one true story. It's not an opportunity to give a little reflection about what's important. It's not a time to say how people should vote. It's not a time to tell people what they should do in lockdown. It's a time to tell a true story from their life. And we've got stories tonight about courage. Some of them will make reference to COVID and others of them won't. This isn't a particularly COVID special night. It's just a way to get together and to hear some magnificent stories. Normally we meet in the Black Box in Belfast. We have a podcast, which Paul will tell you about in a little while, but we're going to go straight in. And we are going to have our first story. And our first story is from Sue Divin, and she has told stories up in Port Stewart and in Derry. She's a magnificent storyteller, and we're thrilled to hear Sue. So let's get Sue unmuted and her video spotlighted, and we look forward to your story, Sue. Thanks very much. No. So I am not yet hearing Sue or seeing Sue.
Well, if I speak, do I come up?
Ah, there you are. Magnificent. So, hi Sue, it's great to see you. We're looking forward to your story. And everybody, when we talk, we can just do kind of jazz. When we're clapping, we can do jazz hands to make sure that Sue sees the magnificence. I'm going to mute myself.
Says himself, the coronavirus diaries. Being 13 and on the spectrum, himself adapts to change like a penguin in the Sahara. The establishment of a new routine may require courage, Dutch or otherwise. As the world locks down for COVID-19, I'm wondering if Amazon deliver homeschool teacher-sized suits of medieval armour. Day 1. At bedtime, we review the first day of home education. Well, I think it's been a fantastic day, says himself. I've progressed to an entirely new level in Splatoon. And look, lifts PJ trousers from under rumpled duvet, puts one trouser leg overhead and around neck, twists waistband at the rear, feeds the other leg overhead, pulls hands together until only the eyes peer out. I can make a balaclava. Day 2. I'm a little emotional, says me. Yeah, says himself, earphones in, scrolling on mobile. Well, I mean, leaving the office, working from home, it'll be very different. Says himself, still scrolling. I suppose it will be. Like in your office, you have a posh swingy chair. The only chair like that in our home is my gaming chair. Pauses, looks up from screen. There is no way you are getting that. Day 3. At 7:30, City Youth is doing a video chat, says me. You should join in. Phone scrolling, checking of WhatsApp instructions, downloads Zoom. I can mute my mic on this, right? Says himself. Of course, says me, but the point is that you chat with your friends. Yeah, says himself, I know that, but what if I need to fart? Day 8. Homeschool is going wonderfully. Himself has been hard at the geography all morning. I duke my head round the bedroom door. Good news, says himself. I've raided a small village, secured a honey source and 4 emeralds. says me, are you sure that this is still pastoral and arable farming in Great Britain? Day 17, tentative door knock. Himself enters home office. What's the chances, knowing I worked so hard at French, says himself, that school could finish 22 minutes early? Says me. Let me rephrase that, says himself. I've found a stash of Werther's originals. Golden plastic Russell. Would you like one? Absolutely, says me. Himself smiles. So, school? Yeah, says me, sweet in mouth. It's officially the weekend. Himself notes primary school artwork adorning the walls from years gone by. Mothers are like buttons, he reads aloud from an old card. They hold everything together. I smile. An alternative version, says himself, scarpering towards gaming devices, could read, mothers are like buttons, push the wrong one and you're in trouble. Day 20. You know what would make me support a politician, says himself on our daily walk. What, says me, thrilled at the prospect of a non-gaming related conversation. Cadbury's caramel eggs, says himself. If they could make those be in the shops all year round. Are they your favourite? I always preferred the mixed bags of mini cream eggs and the Oreo ones. Would you like me to do an Easter egg hunt in the garden, says me? I've only a few eggs. That'd be great, says himself. I wouldn't expect too much, but like maybe you could do cryptic clues. Obviously you'd need to research, but you could customise it for me with Fortnite trivia, like the number of eggs hidden equals the damage per hit rate of a grey AR. I wouldn't expect you to know DPS, damage per second rates or anything. And what is the damage per hit of a whatever, says me? 32. 32 Easter eggs, says me, tripping on flat pavement. That would be some hit. Day 23. Himself has the air of bake-off judge meets Sherlock. Eyes narrowed, he scrutinises the wadge of pie on his plate. It's slightly different to my normal shepherd's pie, says me, fidgeting. He pivots the fork 90 degrees in silence. I babble on. I'd call it cottage pie. I don't have my usual stock cubes. Himself raises an eyebrow. Is that turnip? Yes, says me, but it's cut really small. The clock ticks on the mantelpiece. I breathe deep, practice mindfulness, prayers. Okay, says himself. I'll try a tiny bit. The teeniest bit graces the fork. Seconds, hours. Mentally, I note sommelier and Michelin star food critic as alternative career options. He smiles. My shoulders relax. Actually, it's not bad, says himself. Gravy makes everything better. I nod. Except cereal, says himself, and probably many other things. Day 30. Infamous to all educators, that post-lunch graveyard slot. After a morning thick-laden with Spanish present tense verb conjugations, the principal teacher, in recuperation, sips coffee, concerned. A suspicious silence has descended on the adjacent class bedroom, its door tightly shut. On reflection, the teacher risks a tentative door tap. Keep out, says himself. I'm trying to do this test under normal test conditions. Fair enough, says the teacher, retreating to caffeine solace. 2 steps later, the voice blares through the stud wall. Mum, isn't civil war between people in the one country? Yes. Are we breaching test conditions? No, says himself. I'm merely asking the teacher a question. Day 35. The stakes are high. Fail to nail it, and there's no second chances. For fear of death by cardboard, the weapon has lolled a full day, dominating the doormat in its Amazon packaging. Now unsheathed, we stare at it dolefully, praying for courage. Precautionary checks on quartermaster's reserves of tequila and Coca-Cola are duly run. We may face it, says me, himself who grimaces in the knowledge of certain death. Grips the kitchen table, buzzing begins. Halfway through, it's a definite bowl look. White-knuckled himself demands the mirror. I think Says me, it could be an inspired moment for the FaceTiming of your God, Mammy. A tad of professional input wouldn't be lost on the situation. Himself has the look of a wild-eyed thing half cut. The latter reflects me being an option with the tequila in the likelihood of impending disaster. 5 minutes later, and armed with wisdom from the God, Mammy, himself lifts the shears, tackles the sideburns, pronounces himself God's gift, a natural, deigns to let me batter on. I'd grade it a C+, says me, masking relief of vertical cliff proportions, passable with room for improvement. Himself grabs the mirror, angles it variously, contorts face in different directions, demands a phone camera for additional perspective. I forget to breathe, shoulders tense, awaiting judgment. Shocking, says himself, but it actually looks quite good. Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much. That's brilliant. So, Divin, Paul texted me to tell me how wrongly I was pronouncing your name. Divin, like, don't give it.
That's all right.
So, I was getting that wrong. And fantastic, so good. You didn't let himself near you with the shears? No? That was not going to be bad.
Definitely not.
Next 10 by 9. Thanks very much. That's
no problem. Thank you.
And I'm going to... So our next story, this is